So, the Fantastic Four have had some issues dealing with movies since forever, but Doctor Doom is probably the one that stands out the most. And since we're about to get yet another incarnation of Doctor Doom on the big screen, we might as well talk about this century's failings. On a fundamental level, Doctor Doom is a larger-than-life character. His presence always precedes greatness. He's an intellectual peer of Reed Richards in the sciences, and a mystical peer to Doctor Strange in the mystical arts. And he rules a vaguely Eastern and Southern European country called Latveria. He also has an ego the size of a black hole that holds galaxies together. Doomstadt is literally the name of his capital city. Doom can play the political villain because, King of Latveria. He can play a mystical villain because of his sorcery, or a scientific villain. The flexibility has allowed him to menace everyone. Meanwhile, in the films, he menaces the Fantastic Four and somehow screws up. They have this tendency to shoehorn him into the Fantastic Four origin story in every single movie. Fant Four Stick, let's look at that. Smart guy in the Baxter Foundation. Okay, so far so good, scientific peer of Reed. He works on a teleporter with Reed. Okay, makes sense. He certainly has an ego, but besides just making the portal, that's really all there is to him. His ego comes off less as an insufferable genius and more like an edgy teenager who only thinks that he's the smartest person in the room, when in reality that edgy teenager has not figured out what every other adult in the room has figured out. Then he gets stupid drunk, travels to another dimension, and appears later in the movie, looking like this. This incarnation of Doom is obsessed with the beauty of nature and the negative zone, and goes on murderous rampages because he wants to save the negative zone. Okay, where do I even begin with it, besides the look? The problem with this incarnation of Doom is that he's like every other problem in Fant Four Stick, too subdued, doesn't really have a cohesive motivation, and is generally just unpleasant for the sake of being unpleasant. And really, his motivations after the accident simply makes him a completely different character. Let's go back to the 2005 version. He's a CEO rather than an evil king, but somehow it gets Doom's vanity correct. Made him part of the accident that gave the Fantastic Four their powers, and since he's a Norman Osborn 2.0, he kills a board member who ousted him. Okay, so in the original comics, it's not like that. The accident that gave Doom his scars happened ages ago. The Fantastic Four getting hit with cosmic rays had nothing to do with Doctor Doom. It had something to do with a planet called Spire, but that's part of the issues with Dan Slott's run that I'd like to ignore. In the original Ultimate Fantastic Four runs, where creativity goes to die, this incarnation of Doctor Doom was part of the origin story. The problem with doing that in a movie is that you are doing that in a movie. In a movie, specifically the 2005 Fantastic Four movie, you spend a lot of time dealing with Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben. The problem with that is that you have a limited amount of time with the movie, and you are more concerned with the title characters, the Fantastic Four, not with the main antagonist, oddly enough. So all the relationship building, all the conflicts, all the interpersonal conflicts are relegated mostly to the Fantastic Four. The amount of screen time and story presence Doctor Doom has is pretty much minimized. The problem with doing this is that you cannot show off that Doctor Doom is an intellectual peer of Reed Richards or a massive threat other than what happened at the end, which he goes down pretty quickly. For Fant Four Stick, it's Fant Four Stick. None of the relationships are developed. You can't talk about Doctor Doom's issues in this movie without the context of Fant Four Stick being pretty much a crappy production from start to finish. The problem with Fant Four Stick's Doctor Doom is that he becomes two different characters. After showing him off as unpleasant, and not even in the whole I'm smarter than you, bow before me unpleasant, he pretty much disappears from this movie. Until the last 20 minutes of it. He has no presence in this movie other than auxiliary smart guy who ends up getting himself killed only to not be killed. What happens in these two adaptations is that Doctor Doom was never truly allowed to have a presence in the story, and with the Fantastic Four, despite their relationship, it's ridiculous. It's not helped by the constant revisions to Doctor Doom's history, such as going from evil king of a country, despite Latveria existing in this universe, to CEO of Von Doom Industries because they needed to hop on a bandwagon with Norman Osborn. At least he feels like Doctor Doom stealing the Silver Surfer's powers in Rise of the Silver Surfer, because at least that makes him do something that Doctor Doom would definitely do: take powers of beings that are stronger than him because he believes he's entitled to such power. Can't say the same for Fantastic. That's the problem with Doctor Doom as well. You can't have him be subdued. You have to have him be this larger-than-life character. You can't ground the Fantastic Four. The Corman movie understood that you can't simply ground the Fantastic Four. Sure, he's not the most complex character in any of these films, but at least the Corman version gets the whole, he is an over-the-top evil sorceress king right. I don't even think he does magic in the Corman version, but at least he makes up for it for the fact that he, has a presence in this movie more than just, okay, what the hell. I'll probably revise this video later on because I just wanted to rant about Doctor Doom adaptations. So please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.